Thank you, Whitefeather. Previously, at CSL Menifee Valley, we talked about gratitude. And for those of you who were not here last week, there is a little composition book in the back there that you can create your gratitude journal with. What I invited people last week to do is to pick up one of these, and I don't know if there's any more of the handouts on gratitude. There's some of those left too, out of the Science of Mind magazine. And the opportunity is to take the journal, put your name on the front, and someplace in the beginning, perhaps just write down something that you would like to bring forth into your life experience, something that you would like to enhance in your life, or some object that you would like to manifest in your experience. And then each day, you begin on the page, you list the date, and then begin to write a few things that you're grateful for. The way that I've been approaching this, and there's no right or wrong way to it, but each day on the front page in the morning, I write down a few things that I'm grateful for. And then in the evening on the back of the page, I write down a few things that I experienced through the day that I'm grateful for. So I'm beginning my day about what it is that I want to attract into my life. And then at the end of the day, it's a little bit of a recording about the things that I've noticed and I observed in my life that I'm grateful. At the end of this 40 days, which we're going to, on the September the 15th, the third Sunday of the month, I'm going to invite anyone who would like to share their experience of what happened in that 40 days or how that journaling helped you or guided and brought you around. So it's an opportunity for us to come together as our community and share in the gratitude that we are experiencing in our life and the gratitude that we are experiencing in our beloved communities. So that's the journey that we want to be on. And the journey this month, as I mentioned each month, it's that I take the Science of Mind magazine for the month, and that's the theme that they're using is the theme that I adopt for my messages. And then I look at the Sunday message in the daily guide section, and I see what that theme is for that day, and then that begins my message of what I'm going to speak about on that day, or at least that's my intent, because I'm not always sure what's going to be kind of like showing up in my mind in that moment. And though I think I have an idea of where I'm going to go, Spirit always has a better idea. And so I surrender to that allowance that Spirit has a greater intelligence and wisdom that I'm carrying within myself. And so the theme for this month in the Science of Mind magazine is creating a world that works for all. And that's the vision that Centers for Spiritual Living as an organization has been carrying as its vision since 2011, when we had a merging of the two different organizations, and we came together as one, and we created this vision that says it's creating a world that works for all. And one of the caveats of that is that this is a vision. It's not a goal. It's not something that we believe that we're going to attain today, tomorrow, or next week, but it's a vision. It's something that we're always working forward and that we're always working towards in order to continue to move in that direction, because we know that that this is even though we're in a temporal body, we live in that eternal, infinite mind that is for always, forever moving on. So we've created a vision that we believe is something that will always be there for us to work towards. So we're creating a world that works for all. And we don't always know what that means, but we're trying to reveal it and understand it each and every day as we continue to expand our consciousness and move into that. And so the guide for today is about the uniqueness of being, the uniqueness of who you are as an individual, the uniqueness that you show up with your skills and your talents and your intelligence and your wisdom, that it's already there. That this is not something that you create. That within you is already that divine, infinite intelligence, that wholeness and that perfection. The role that you play as that in your personality, as the individual that you show up, just as I show up as Michael, is to then reveal through my life experience, through the way in which I behave and the way in which I show up in my daily life, trying to reveal that perfection of who I am. And I find that that's a full-time job, that in revealing the truth. It's easy to be the couch potato. It's a full-time work to show up and be the truth all the time and be in that infinite intelligence and that wisdom. And I find that also very exciting because my life is not dull in any means whatsoever. That I'm always challenged by something new, something is showing up, and something is bringing forth and calling me in that unique way that says, how are you going to do this? Not how is somebody else going to do this, but how are you going to do this as the unique individual that you are? The passage, the reading for the daily guide begins something like, the road less traveled is not a road that's paved with good intentions. But if you take that journey, if you take that path of the road less traveled, you need to take it with full intention. You need to take it with this idea and this concept of being mindful, because the road less traveled is not one that's necessarily convenient. It's not one that's even going to be easy. If you want the easy road, if you want the convenient road, then take one that somebody else has already taken and just be the copycat and try to just follow them and see how your life goes. That's not for me. And what I have found is that most people who are attracted to Science of Mind, most people who tend to show up at Centers for Spiritual Living, they don't want that paved road. They don't want that, oh, I'm just going to follow somebody else and be just like them. They want that uniqueness. They want to be in an expression, in a powerful and dynamic way to show up in life. And when I look at all of you, and I know most of you, it's like I recognize that's who you are. You don't want to just be the regular Joe Schmo. You want to be unique. You want to be an individual. You want to stand up and you want to stand out. Sometimes that's challenging, particularly if you're in a leadership role and you're trying to herd them all in, to kind of like be in that right in particular way, and you don't want to do that. The other thing that I find that is unique about being in Centers for Spiritual Living is, particularly when we're talking about membership, most of you don't want to be members. You don't want to have to sign up and follow the rules and the regulations. You want to be that individual self, and yet you want to belong to community. And that's what we're trying to create here when we're creating a beloved community, is that we like you to be members in that way in which you are supporting and engaged and you're participating, but not members because we want to control you or determine what's going to be best for you, because we don't know The truth of that is that, we've got some ideas, we've got some experience, we've got some guidelines that we're following, but we're all in this together. We're all trying to figure this out in the best way that we can. And there's not always a simple and easy answer if you want to be unique and you want to be magnificent and you want to be authentic. Then you have to take a different pathway. You have to take challenges. You have to take some risk, and you've got to be courageous and willing to step out there and be in a new and different way, and know that as you do that, you're probably going to face a lot of resistance. You're probably going to face some criticism. You're probably going to face some of your family and friends that think, what in the hell are you doing? It's like, oh, you're going to that cult place over there. You're a part of that which is, they can't explain it. And trust me, when I show up like in an interfaith place with a lot of different clergy from different organizations, and they ask me, it's like, and where are you from? What is this center of what? What is that about? And wanting, having to explain some of that, it becomes a little bit of a challenge. And I tell them not to worry. I said, we've got it all under control. They can go about and do their business, It's okay with us because we're really open and willing to receive them, And as I often do, as I share with them, it's about the behavior. It's about the way in which you show up. It's about the experience of being in that life, knowing that you are authentic, knowing that you are willing to understand yourself. I like to, when it's available, to give some explanation about this concept, this philosophy of Science of Mind, Centers for Spiritual Living, because I think it's important for us to remember who we are, whether you're the first time here or whether you've been involved with this for centuries. It's important that we kind of go back to understanding again, what was it that Ernest Holmes, the founder, was trying to bring forth? And he wasn't trying to bring forth another religion. He wasn't trying to bring forth, some like, oh, here's the right and perfect answer. He was trying to bring forth a revelation of truth to the best of his ability, knowing that it ought not to stop there. That as much as he had to offer, it was not the end, and it was not the encompassing, all-encompassing answer to everything, but it was opening a door, it was opening a pathway that said that it's within, and it's the power of the mind, and it's your willingness to go deep within yourself to discover that truth. And that's what this message is about this week, in this uniqueness of being. It's about setting the intention of going within, deep within yourself, particularly when you're faced with a challenge. It's easy to be a Science of Mind practitioner when everything is going really rosy and everything is fine and everything seems to be whole, perfect, and complete. Then you can do all of the praise and all of the hallelujahs that you want to, because life is good and it's rolling along just fine. The challenge is to be a practitioner when you're in some deep pain and you're sitting in the emergency room and you're wondering why you're not first in line. How it is that nobody is taking your case as an emergency. To be there and to be in that place, to be humbled, to understand that you are not the only individual walking upon this planet Earth, but there's a whole cadre of people that are in pain and are suffering. To be in that place, to be in that time, and to be able to sit in quiet stillness amongst the chaos and the pain and the suffering, even your own, and to be in a place of knowingness, knowing that there is a right and perfect reason for why you are here in this moment, wherever it is that you are. Even when everything is going exactly the way that you want it to be, to know that that's the right place and the perfect time. And when you're in the midst of your pain and your suffering and your uncertainty and your doubt and your fear, that's exactly where you need to be. And if you can open up to discover and set what is your intention at that time and that place, what is the unique skill and talent and wisdom that you are bringing forth in your life experience, because that's going to also influence the life experience of everyone around you, just as everyone around you is going to have some influence and impact upon your life experience, that we're all going to be in a mixture of this, to be able to sit in the middle of that and know that you are a divine expression of God right there, right now. And you are revealing the purpose for why you are there, whether you understand it or not, but you know that you are there for a right and perfect purpose that you are divinely expressing in that very moment. That brings forth, at least for me, a sense of gratitude. That even though I may not understand why I'm here or why I'm in the situation that I'm in or what it is that I'm supposed to be doing there, I know that I'm there for a divine purpose. And I don't always have to do something. I don't always have to be the answer. I don't always have to be the leader. I don't always have to be the one that says, I know the way. That I can just be there and be a part of that, because my presence there is what is necessary and what is being called forth in that right time and that right place. I like to look at life sometimes as it's this big jigsaw puzzle. That if you can imagine, just like in our teaching symbol here, in this stained glass, and it's got all these, different unique shapes and sizes and pieces within there. Without every one of those pieces there, it wouldn't be complete. It's necessary for every one of those pieces to be there, regardless of what shape they are, regardless of whether they're bigger or smaller than anything else, or whether they're part of the white or part of the blue. It does not matter. Each and every piece is important, just as it is, and it has to do nothing other than be there. To be there and be present, and then it's complete. Each and every one of us is a piece of that puzzle. And the puzzle becomes complete when we show up in our authentic self. We show up knowing that it's really okay for me to be me. And I don't have to be anything else other than that. And yes, I can see and I can observe, and I know that there are things that need to be done. And in my human self, and I am that type A personality that wants to do it all, and I want to do it perfect. If people would just leave me alone, I could run the world, and it would be divine. But everybody else wants to have their part too. And when I'm in my higher self, I understand that. I understand that everybody wants to be a part of this world. Everybody wants to be a part of this experience. Everybody wants to be their authentic self. And in order for that to happen, I and myself, as my individual personality, need to understand that and allow for that to be. Allow for others to have their experience. Allow for others to show up. And when there's something for me to do, I'm going to know that it's mine to do. I don't know if anybody else has ever had this experience, but you have had that urge when you know that it's yours to do, and everything just falls into place. When you're out there struggling, trying to make something happen, especially for somebody else, and it's not working, and they're not grateful, and they're not receiving, and they're not, have you been there where it's like you're really trying to help somebody and they don't want it? How dare they? I can see their problem. I know what their answer is, and I'm trying to give it to them, and they don't want it. It's kind of like, step back and allow for that experience to be. Probably this lesson I learned the greatest when I was operating the group homes for emotionally disturbed, abandoned, abused children. Because it's very obvious to see what they need. And they have physical needs, and they have emotional needs, they have psychological needs, they have medical needs. There was a lot of needs that they were having. But the greatest need that they required was to be. And we, as the caretakers for them at that time and place, when we allowed and created space for them to understand that they could just be. If they needed to be angry,